like to introduce our next speaker, Leigh J. McCloskey.
Joseph Campbell said that the artists of every generation have to reinvigorate the myths. Because what he understood was that the mythic allows us to perceive ourselves not simply as social or cultural beings, but really as part of a conversation across the ages of what does it mean to be human? Who are we then? Why are we here? And what is our purpose? And the arts reveal to us a conversation that doesn't demand belief. It is always an invitation that invites us to explore with imagination the possibility that maybe, just maybe, we are far more interesting than we have led ourselves to believe. And since tonight's conversation is about flourishing in the new paradigm, I wanted to share a painting of mine that is a creative revelation and a creative epiphany, meaning that it is something that I did not expect to experience or to have this story unfold. The painting is called Phoenix Arise, and I created it in 1997 after 4 years. I then recreated it in card form in 2003 for my first book being published. And on putting the cards away, I dropped them. And a most extraordinary story began to reveal itself. Because between creation and creation, a yoni revealed itself, or the possibility of birth, which was neither one or the other, but like lover and beloved, the possibility of bringing forth. I started to think about the shape of the yoni. It's also the shape of the larynx, the shape of the eye. So what we're being told is that wherever we see this shape, we are experiencing the transformation of one quality or condition into another. When air passes through the larynx, it becomes sound. In the beginning was the word, Om. When light passes through the eyes, it becomes vision. And when we are born through the birth canal, we transform from one quality or condition into a world of shared experience, unique psychology, and we join the human family in this great saga of what does it mean to be human, and now that I am here, what is my part in this noble and remarkable conversation. I then mirrored the top of the card, and we'll see that everything we're looking at today, we have to remind ourselves, is from one painting recapitulating itself, the painting of creation. And here we see, when I mirrored the top of the painting, a holographic double helix DNA weave suggested from a painting. If we think about a painting, what is a painting? A painting is born of spontaneous creation. What is a human being? We are born of spontaneous creation. Like can only be known by like. This suggests that we are an art form. And when a painting suggests the holographic DNA, we're not looking at something that will be sold to pharmaceutical companies. We're looking at that which is restoring our mythic realization that our we, who and what we think we are, is a holographic matrix composed of the recapitulation of the one, creation. As I like to say this with delight, Plato and Pythagoras. And so we move now into the story that shows us, when we look at it in this angle, you'll see how the slit eyes and the slit mouth of the ancient alien face appears that we see so often in our cultural mythos. What this starts to suggest is that what we're considering alien in our human relationship is actually like a tree recognizing that its roots go so deeply into the multidimensional realms that for us it seems alien, and yet if we use the analogy of the deep root of a tree, the roots do not see the light of day. They are nourished in the dark by sources and resource that then is drawn into the tree and becomes part of our great weave. And this also allows us to understand that we wear the robes of the ancestors. We are the outcome of a great journey and not a manifestation of something mistaken or by chance. We go back to Phoenix Arise, the original painting, and we're going to set the painting in motion, meaning that we're going to begin to see the unfolding of creation, setting creation in motion. Here it begins to geometrize. We have holographic recapitulation, meaning that the one is recapitulating the one. Creation, recapitulating creation. Pythagoras said God geometrizes. What did Pythagoras mean? What he meant was that when I said all is number, that I did not mean it was abstraction, but rather that all number is based upon wholeness, holiness, entity, archetype, and being. And so mathematics was the way of exploring the remarkable dimensionalization of creation. Go around, we see the umbilical serpent, followed by this relationship of the Ouroboros, or the serpent swallowing its own tail. And we finally come to the first mandala that revealed itself, which is the story of the phoenix, because the phoenix bird of immortality returns after 500 years and builds a nest. And there was a nest and feathers. And as we can see, the nest and feathers relates to the home and heart. But in the story of the phoenix, once the nest is built, it erupts into flames. I pulled out the cards, and it erupted into flames. But it will reveal not, as we will see, just random flames, but this nest is in the process of blossoming. So that we are seeing in a visual philosophical format, meaning the recapitulation of the one, creation, creating unique geometry, saying that we are going, as human beings, from a time of contraction or nesting into a time of expanding or blossoming, and that the fires we each feel are within us, saying that a blossom doesn't blossom because it's one petal, but it finally blossoms because each petal says, I am willing to surrender the possibility that maybe I am more beautiful than I think. And this is why all of the different mandalas that come from this one painting reveal stories that Carl Jung said, we know from experience that the protective circle, the mandala, is the antidote for chaotic states of mind, and that the God image in us expresses itself as the mandala. So here we see the Eye of Sophia. The mandala reveals at its heart that it is a sun, S-U-N, each of us, a unique sun, a unique dimensionalization of creation, and that the Hopi say the knowledge of the sacred DNA is in their basket weave. And as I point out, many of these look like Indian baskets and like headdresses. So the creation comes back home, Phoenix arrives, wherever it is put together, creates infinite blossoms. And it is telling us that we are returning home, because the original Phoenix Arise is in my painted studio, my library and wonder study called The Hieroglyph of the Human Soul, which began on 9/11 when the towers came down. So we return to the cave. Only in this cave there's a library, because the library is what we gathered when we left the cave. Now we return and wear this knowledge in our sacred DNA. And as Emerson said, for beauty is the creator of the universe. So Phoenix Arise points out in visual philosophical terms, we are not born into time, we are born into creation. We are each a phoenix, a unique blossom of creation, whole, holy, and holographic. Each of us wear the robes of our sacred DNA, and life is our inheritance from the ancestors. Let us be worthy of them and this great and difficult and noble adventure in consciousness, art, and meaning called being human. And as William Blake once said, in every bosom a universe expands as wings. You are a unique blossom of creation. You are whole and holy. Welcome home. Thank you.